Q&A time. Just, tip number 1, just leap straight in. Who needs a fancy schmancy intro? No, not you. That sounded really harsh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. You deserve a good intro, but you don't need one. This is a wreck. What's your thumbnail making process? Well, for these daily vlogs, it's pretty much literally just grab a still frame and make that the thumbnail. I know, wow. But if we're talking pun diddly, that's a little more intricate. I start out by getting a screen cap of me making a funny face in Premiere, and then pull that, let's just pick a random one here, pull that into Photoshop. There we go. Now, first of all, I select myself, which thank goodness for the, what is this tool called? Quick selection tool. I knew that. Yeah, totally. Selecting around my hair is always fun. No, you know what's a nightmare to work around? My fingers. You know how hard it is to select fingers well? Or sometimes you just have like why? Why is it having trouble just selecting just the arm? Why do I have to fiddle with it so? I'm probably doing this all wrong. I mean, I never took any Photoshop classes or anything. I probably should have. Back when I was into photography, I only really used Lightroom. So I don't know nearly as much about Photoshop as I should. That's looking pretty darn good, right? So I'm gonna select and mask it. Oh, hang on, nope, never mind. I got a little piece of the painting, which will happen all the time. I'll accidentally get something that I didn't think I did. Let's try this again. Maybe get rid of that extra little bit around my fingers. Yeah, that's not a bad selection. So now, first of all, what I do is take the image of myself and I give myself a little stroke. Like the white border. I'm not giving myself a heart attack. That doesn't look bad. Also a drop shadow. Let me zoom out a bit so I can kind of see what it'll look like at actual size. Now select the background layer, image adjustments, hue and saturation. I click colorize and crank the saturation way up, and then I literally just choose a hue. Let's just say red. I'm feeling red. That looks pretty darn good. Now I'm just gonna give the outside an inner shadow here. Yeah, something like that, just a little pop. Oh, and apparently my selection around myself wasn't nearly as good as I thought it was, so I'm going to select the eraser tool, which I know I technically shouldn't do, but darn it, I'm lazy. That's the nice thing about YouTube thumbnails, is you have a little bit of leeway, because it's only ever going to be shown when it's like that tiny. And there we go. That doesn't look half bad, if I do say so myself. I save it. I have a thumbnail folder, and inside of that I have 3 subfolders, which are raw frames, Photoshop files, and Final Thumb. So that is how I make my thumbnails. What editing software do you use? Primo? What the frick? I use Adobe Premiere CC because it's standard. I don't know. I like it. Also, did you ever take any videography classes or anything? How did you get good at it? Well, thank you. Fun story. No, I've never. I'm completely self-taught, all from the internet. Although I'd like to think that most of my video skills, I guess, came from my background in photography. I was a photography nerd for years and years before I ever stepped anywhere near YouTube. You know, normally this is kind of a bad thing, but in this situation it really helped. The photography world is a lot more judgmental than YouTube. You know, YouTube, it's like if you overexpose or the audio sounds bad, it's like whatever, you know? It's a good content. You got a good moment, and that's what matters. In the photography world, so I'd like to think honestly that the constant pressure from others and just that I imposed upon myself to make things look as good as possible, I try to carry that into my videoing with lighting and color temperature and composition. I try and make each video shot look like a photograph. Don't always succeed, but I try. Do you ever storyboard your more complicated projects like Secret Life of a YouTuber? Fun fact, I don't think I've ever storyboarded a video ever. Honestly, I'm a very visual person, and so when I'm coming up with an idea, literally I come up with the shots, like the lighting and the camera placement and everything before I even come up with the dialogue or the basic storyline. Honestly, when I'm writing out a script, especially for sketches, I'm more excited. It's more the script. My motivation for making the script is more to test out different lighting situations and get prettier shots than the actual content of the story. I know that's not a good way to be, but it's just the way I am. So I kind of have like this rough idea, and then once I start actually scripting out the lines, as I'm writing down like the story and the lines, I'm imagining like, okay, at this part, the camera will be this high at this f-stop and like this zoom rangeness. So I guess my my storyboarding is all in my mind, and I just kind of remember it. I don't know. That's the way that I am. How do you manage to make so many videos? Teach me your ways. It's called not having a life. I don't know. I love making videos. And honestly, that's like my struggle with Pondidly is I feel like making one video a week for that wasn't enough. So that's why I started these daily vlogs. I've always had like, I've described it as like this itch. Like, you know, when you have a physical itch, you can ignore it, but it just gets more and more difficult. That's kind of how I am with video. Like, I constantly have this like, I guess, anxiety in my stomach whenever I'm not creating something. Like, this is what I was made to do. Honestly, like, my idea of like a perfect life is literally just non-stop video. Like, if I could eliminate the need for sleep and eating and drinking, I absolutely would, so I could spend 100% of my time literally either talking to a camera or editing a video. That would be heaven for me. So it's literally just kind of a drive, an inner drive that I feel, and it's like a fire, like the burning passions of doing what you love. And as I said, not having a real life. So there you go. I hope that can kind of help you out if you're considering like doing the tubes or whatever. I mean, I guess I didn't really give any solid like actual advice except for the thumbnail thing. Well, now if you want to rip off my thumbnails, there you go. Like, I totally didn't rip off. Yeah, that's totally original. Totally original. And remember, stay positive. Oh, I got a chapel fly. So don't tell